Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Welcome if you're new. Our channel is The Journey Within with Christopher Mack. I'm Wanda Webster, the co-author of the book, The Journey Within. The book is available on Amazon, Target, and barnesandnoble.com. Today we're going to do a deep dive into principles versus personality. Ready?
Good afternoon. I like to really shout out to the people who are following my channel. Shout out to Anna Pepe, to my friend Samuel Kiwas.
Oh, show the viewers your necklace we're wearing by Samuel at sacredfriends.org. You have a beautiful necklace on.
Yeah, Samuel is the one that brings this. He also gets crayon glass for drinking that you can set in the sun.
Right.
Energizes the water. So a shout out to just some of the people who are listening to my channel and giving me feedback. You could always go to the comment section, say if it did something for you. If it didn't do anything for you, you can say that too. One of the things that we are going to talk about today is principle versus personality, which is something I always used to hear in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, principle versus personality. And to take a deeper look at how principles can sort of redirect my life. Sometimes, I want to go on, my feelings. I want to go on my traditions. I want to go on, maybe a corrupted emotional attitude. I want to respond to a situation or a condition, and it may not be the correct response. It may take me deeper and deeper into a place of denial, where I start to lie to myself about any and everything. And I get stuck in certain situations that, if I would have just been honest at the beginning, I could have been out of that feeling. I could have been out of that conversation. I could have been out of that situation. So I'm going to dive into principles versus personality. The first principle being honesty. And so how can I ask that question at any given moment? Considering on the circumstances, am I being honest with myself? Not necessarily honest with anybody else, but with myself. Because sometimes I do things because they feel good, because they make me look good. They make people, I said, wow, if I look good doing that, let me do a little bit more of that. Then I become excessive, but never really asking, what's going to be the end results? Because a lot of times we get involved in things, and if we would have just stopped and took a look at what it was that we were doing and what we were going to get out of something, we might have had a healthier response to the situation.
I think sometimes we say principles are the divine reaction to life. Living by those principles, that's the divine reaction to life, right?
Yeah, well, so what I began to learn is that I was once in a meeting, it was on Crocker, and we were talking about the principle of honesty. And, many times people say, well, I'm honest, I don't tell a lie, but do you skimp and cheat on other things, which doesn't necessarily mean you're not trustworthy. You were supposed to be here at this time. You are 20 minutes late because you wanted to do something else. You wanted to go to the nail salon. You wanted to go stop and get yourself a malt or something, and you're late, and you come in late, and you're not being trustworthy. But then you say, I'm honest. So I was in the meeting, and we were talking about honesty. And I was standing there and I was thinking, I said, well, am I honest? Which was a real question I had to ask myself at that point. Am I honest? And I began to feel like, wow, maybe there are a lot of areas in my life where I'm really just dishonest and I'm not really being honest, with myself. And then I realized that the only way that I could measure my honesty is by knowing how dishonest I can be. And when I saw myself being dishonest, I could then, become more honest in whatever the situation is or the circumstances. I think that we learn to be dishonest by the little white lies, but we don't really realize we're being dishonest with ourselves.
Right. And it
Am
seems
I,
like once that door is cracked open a little bit, that it becomes easier to open the door a little bit more for more lies, more fudging, more fibbing, more bending the rules, just opening it up a crack.
yeah, because here it is. We start to justify what we say. Oh, that's okay. Nobody knows. Nobody will find out. You did it because. And anytime you start to have that conversation with yourself, you may or may not be being honest. Well, I can say you may not be honest, being honest, because you're starting to justify and what will always tell whether or not you're honest is the outcome, the situation. How does this really look?
Well, what if a person feels good about their lies and they're getting away with it?
If they feel good about it, they're getting away with it, pretty soon, it's going to catch up with them. But you can always measure, how am I feeling? Am I always having, am I always having these arguments with people? Am I feeling good about myself at any given moment? Or do I just feel bad about life? And, like we were talking about being a bad actor. Am I being a bad actor on any given moment? What happens is our lies become the prison of our life. And so we're imprisoned by lies. And so we can't do anything but follow those lies. And
I think you
continue to be
mentioned,
uncomfortable.
right, and Lady Drama and Mr. Chaos show up at the doorstep oftentimes.
Well, you can always measure and see whether or not is there an ease in your life? Because you remember when we start to lie and we start to be uncomfortable in ourselves, we start to be diseased. There is no peace. And we need the next thing to make us have a better outlook for life. We look for the next activity. We look for the next situation. We're always being externally stimulated because those lies can come back to haunt you. They can come back to talk to you and start giving you, misery.
So what are the other principles to live by?
Well, when we started seeing, when we in the dynamics of recovery, when John and I used to do the groups, we used to always talk about principles, versus personality. And the first principle, when we look at the AA format, the first principle coming out of the first step is, honesty. The next one is hope, surrender, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, love, responsibility, discipline, awareness. And finally, the most important part is service. A lot of times we really have a lot of trouble when we are only in service to self, because that's a limit. But when we're in service to others, that's limitless possibilities, being able to be in service to others. Myself, I'm limited, but being in service to others, it seems to open life up. And then there's this sense of freedom. You're no longer in bondage to yourself. Me by myself, can be a terrible, sticky mess. But when I'm doing something for others, I'm no longer just concerned about me, but how can I be of assistance? How can I help you?
Can you talk about how principles stay steady? They never, our mind cannot really corrupt them, can we? Or can we?
Well, it's like, yeah, a principle is a truth.
Right.
And when you have something that's true, it's a fact. It doesn't change. Unlike, what's going in our society today, that there's alternative facts. The truth about a tree being a tree will never change. And that's how principles are. They're foundational. They are something that cannot be altered by my personality. I can want it to be something else. I can want a dog to be a giraffe, but the truth is it's a dog, and it has certain facts that make it a dog. It'll never be a giraffe. But when my personality gets involved, I'll try to take a giraffe and turn it into a kangaroo.
Right. Okay. Well, we could spend probably hours and hours talking about each one of those principles. How you want to? Any last parting words for today's video?
Well, today it's to give you something to think about, and I think it would be in the first question. Am I using the principle of honesty throughout my life? And if I'm not using it throughout my life, where am I being dishonest with myself? Because sometimes it's what I tell myself and how I rationalize it for myself. I'm really being dishonest, and I am not only dishonest, but I am uncomfortable. I'm not at ease in my own life. So those are certain indicators.
Mm-hmm.
So start with the principle, am I honest with myself?
Mm-hmm. Okay, beautiful.
Ask the question and leave it there.
Okay, beautiful.